very well today. So, what I'm going to look at today to help you improve on your English is we're going to look at different proverbs, idioms, phrasal verbs, expressions, etc. etc. All these new things that could be quite useful for you in your business English. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. In association today with LK Formation, tailor-made solutions for your business. And we're going straight in to our first one today, which is we are talking about an idiom. And our idiom is go the extra mile. What does this mean exactly? This idiom means to put in extra effort and go beyond what is required in order to achieve or satisfy someone. So let's have a look at our example. She always goes the extra mile for her clients, often working long hours and weekends to ensure their needs are met. So when you are going the extra mile, you are going above and beyond what is expected. And sometimes when you have a project to do or in order to get a contract perhaps with a different company, you have to go the extra mile. You have to do something extra. So you have to work harder and so on. I'll turn off my volume here. No interruptions. Okay, so that is our idiom, to go the extra mile. You can, of course, let me know in the comments where you have gone, whenever you have gone the extra mile, or is it expected of you in your work to go the extra mile. And even if you have an equivalent, something that means the same in your language, let me know in the comments. Also, please don't forget, give me a thumbs up, share if this is useful for you, share amongst your colleagues if it helps them with their business English. So always going the extra mile here. Right, moving on, we have a saying of the day. And our saying of the day is, you can't judge a book by its cover. This means appearances can be deceiving, and it's not possible to accurately judge someone or something just based on their outward appearance. We'll look at our example before we talk about it. Although he may seem quiet and reserved at first, you can't judge a book by its cover. Once you get to know him, you'll realize that he's actually very outgoing and friendly. Good word here that we have in our vocabulary down here is outgoing. This is something that often people like to describe themselves as. If you are a social person, you like being around people, you like to have a laugh, you are happy to be in the group, you are funny perhaps, you are an outgoing person. It is a positive to be an outgoing person. It's a nice personality trait. Now, sometimes you see people or you look at something, and often where it comes from is we take a book and we look at it, the cover of the book, and we make a judgment. If it's a nice cover, I'm interested. But this is something we do when we're children, and it has nothing to do with what's inside the book. So we talk about people. We shouldn't look at their appearance and say, that person is a typical person who votes for that type of political party, or they look like a mean person. Sometimes don't judge a book by its cover. Let us give the person time, and perhaps they could be exactly like the example, outgoing, very friendly, very warm. It's just that they look perhaps different. So another thing we could possibly say is, when you see a person, or if you have somebody says to you, she's really quite boring, or I don't know, she looks like a boring person, we have an expression which is, still waters run deep. So I'm giving you these expressions today and proverbs. Still water. So when water is still, like a lake, it's still, it's not moving. We say those waters are deep. Because when you have a stream, for example, a stream is like a small river, and it's going over the rocks. It's moving very fast, but it's shallow. It's shallow. So perhaps we use this figuratively, like people. Still waters run deep. That person could be a thoughtful person, could be very interesting, could have good ideas about things, but they look kind of boring. And then people that often are like a stream, chatty, social, very outgoing, often those people are not very deep. They are just on the surface, don't think very deeply about things. Kind of the opposite, you could say. So we say still waters run deep. Okay. We also, by the way, when we're talking about a swimming pool, we'll say the deep end of the pool and we'll say the shallow end. But when you call a person shallow in English, it's like saying superficial. A person is not to be, perhaps, maybe a person is selfish. They think about themselves. They don't really care about you. They're quite a shallow person. It is, I would say it's kind of an insult. And you would mean it to be that person is not, they're kind of a selfish person. So that's our second one, our saying of the day. You can't judge a book by its cover. Is it used a lot in English? Yes, it's very well used. It's very common to hear, and you will hear often just, you can't judge a book, and everybody knows at the end. So that's something I would expect to exist in your language. If it doesn't, let me know what you say instead. Do you say something like looks can be deceiving? That's another saying we have. A very famous one, though, is you can't judge a book by its cover. Let's move on now to our next one. Expression of the day. Put all your eggs in one basket. I want to make sure that you guys can see. Yes, you can see. So to put all your eggs means in one basket. The expression means to rely too much on one thing or put all your resources into one area with the risk that if one thing fails, you will lose everything. And our example is he put all his eggs in one basket by investing money in one stock. That's like on the stock exchange, let's say Bitcoin. And when it plummeted, when it went down really fast, he lost everything. So if we talk about cryptocurrencies, I'm going to buy stocks only in Bitcoin, or I'm going to buy stocks only in cryptocurrency. Well, if the market of cryptocurrencies plummets or crashes, I will lose everything. So it's better to buy a bit of gold. It's better to buy a bit of cryptocurrency. It's better to invest in a company, put my eggs in different areas, because the basket is what we hold and we put all our eggs. And if the basket falls, all of the eggs will break. So that's where the expression comes from. Normally, you'd have the basket like if you think of Little Red Riding Hood, the story of the girl with the wolf and the red jacket or the red hood. She was carrying a basket, and that's the eggs in one basket. It's the only one I could think of as my example. But a very useful expression, not to put your eggs in one basket. You guys can let me know which expression or which one of these has been helpful for you today. Again, thank you very much to my new connections. It's great to have you with me. I hope I can help you with your business English, make it enjoyable, and even if you just learn one thing from this class, it's one extra thing. So as I said before, give it a like or let your friends know to connect with me, and that would be really good. Okay, a proverb. You can let me know if you agree or disagree. I have a problem with this one. Proverb of the day: where there's smoke, there's fire. This means if there are rumors or signs of a problem, there is likely some truth to them. So we think of smoke going into the sky, and I don't see a fire, but if I see smoke, there must be fire. Now, a student of mine before told me that this in Spanish is, if you can hear running water, if you can hear the water, there must be water. So here there have been a lot of rumors lately about the company's financial troubles. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So we should investigate further. This is something, if you listen, you can listen to the Financial Times news briefing in the morning. And recently, I remember talking about the problems in Credit Suisse, in the bank, and it was constant problems, and it was really okay. There must be real problems if we're hearing about Credit Suisse all the time. So, um, but obviously, someone in English, often people use this sometimes as a lazy argument, as an accusation to pointing the finger at somebody. And I heard something, so if I heard something, there's no smoke without fire. That's where I have the problem. We normally use it as an accusation, and just because you heard something, it doesn't mean it's true. Okay, it's just rumors or gossip, and I would say the opposite. That's why we have a legal system because somebody accuses someone and you say, no, it wasn't me. You go to court, and in the end, we find the smoke wasn't smoke, it was just gossip. So that's our proverb. Where there's smoke, there's fire. What does this mean in your country? How would you translate it? What do you use instead? We have the smoke. In Spanish, they have the water. What do you have from your country? Excellent. We're going to move on now to our next one. We have our slang of the day. So it's good to have a bit of slang. It does exist in all of the languages, and it's nice to know as a fun bit of English. I'll give you some more as well. Slang of the day: savage. This slang term can mean different things. Savage means wild, okay? So it can mean different things depending on the context, but it's often used to describe something that is extreme or intense, or someone who is brutally honest or unapologetically harsh. So when I say something to you, perhaps, or your boss says something to you, she says, your work is just not great, you need to be better. We don't say she's being hard. You can, but it's very common to say she's being harsh. We're normally harsh with our words, not hard, harsh. So I could say something, and my colleague, I will say something to somebody in my team, I say something savage, and then my colleague says, James, that was a bit harsh. That was too harsh. It was too intense. So example, the workout was so savage. This is like in the gym. I can barely move my muscles today. So I had a savage workout. Again, this is slang. These words get exchanged. Intense would be a word that would be common, but as everyone likes to use the slang, savage is quite common. And I know, for example, I've heard it before in lots of different contexts. So another one that maybe I can put on the screen for you here. Let me find a text. Okay, I think I can put in the text. Let me have a look. Okay, if you look at the top of your screen here, we have lit. Okay, this is another slang term. I'm going to give you a few slang terms right now. Okay, lit. And the other one is and fire. And you can use savage as well in this context. And lit, fire, and savage, depending on the country, but lit and fire are very common now. They both mean cool. So saying cool for older people is fine. But maybe for young people, saying cool is old-fashioned, or it's not the word when you see a new song on YouTube, or you see a new video on Instagram or TikTok. I'm not going to say, hey, that was cool, because for young people, that's not cool. I'm going to say, that song is fire. That song is lit. And it's something that you quite commonly see, and you will commonly see with younger people, and even people that are older, they want to still use the cool words. So lit and fire, and maybe with the emoji of a fire as well. It's very common at the moment. It more than likely will change in the next year. But if you want to joke in the office and you have younger colleagues or something, you can have a joke and say, yeah, your presentation was fire, okay? Or your presentation was lit. Lit probably means is to light a fire, and yesterday I lit a fire. I personally, I'm going to be 45 soon, and I would use it with younger people as a joke because obviously I'm not young. Well, I feel young, but just it's not the words I would normally say. So I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of funny, just light-hearted. Say, yeah, your presentation was fire, So I think it's nice to use these words. So that's lit and fire. Let's move along. Savage. Oh, and the other one I wanted to point out was FOMO. And FOMO is an acronym, and it means, let me see if I can fit it on the screen. Fear. Oh, maybe I'll have to. FOMO, okay? FOMO. Fear of missing out. So a lot of people have FOMO when they think of moving to a different city. Like if you live in a capital city often, or a big city, let's just take, for example, London. A lot of young people, they're not able to afford to live in London, to buy. So it probably makes sense to move outside London, save your money, work from home. Okay. But the reason they don't leave London is because of FOMO, fear of missing out. It's everything is happening in London, all the cool stuff, all the cool places. And if I leave, I will miss out on all that cool stuff, So FOMO is what people have. And you see it written in newspaper articles every now and again. It has stayed in the popular culture, FOMO. And it's a fear of missing out, and often it's a very real thing. A lot of people make sense to move to a smaller city or move to the countryside to save money, but it's boring there. I won't be cool anymore. I will be irrelevant, and everything is happening over there in the city. So that's FOMO, fear of missing out. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is that the reason why you have stayed in your capital city or in a big city? Or is it just nonsense? You guys can let me know. Moving on to our next slide is our word of the day, panacea. Actually, the A here would be panacea. This word means a solution or remedy for all problems or difficulties. Some people believe that exercise is a panacea for all health problems, but in reality, it's just one piece of the puzzle. So you have your puzzle, and you need to put everything together to have the full puzzle finished. And this exercise is a panacea for all health problems, but in reality, it's just one piece of the problem. Exercise is just one piece. So panacea, a synonym for panacea would be like a solution or a remedy. Okay, not often used, and if it exists in like Latin languages, you can use it in English, and it sounds like good English. It's not something you'll hear people using all the time, so that's nice. Let's move on down. I can never find my cursor because it's white and the screen is white. Okay, and now we're going to go on to this one, which is our phrasal verb. And a phrasal verb is take after. It means to resemble or have similar qualities or characteristics to a family member. He takes after his father in many ways, including his love for sports and his easygoing personality. A synonym or a way to say this most commonly would be he is like his father in many ways, but it is very normal and common to hear take after. So she takes after me in her love for swimming, or she takes after me in enjoying maths or learning languages. He takes after his, I think you could use it, takes after his uncle, or he takes after his grandfather. It is possible to do that, but it's often you would say the father or the mother, because coming from different families. So let me know. You can give me an example in the comments Who do you take after and why? So you take after your mother because, for what reason? Or you take after your father, your grandparents? And maybe if you are also a parent, who takes after you? Um, so that would be quite interesting to know. I'm just going to double check and make sure I got everything there. Because I just have that. We had the panacea. We have our slang. We have our proverb. We have our expression. We have our judge a book by its cover and go the. So we learned a lot. Go the extra mile. You can't judge a book by its cover. Put all your eggs in one basket. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Slang of the day is savage, panacea, and phrasal verb of the day. What more do you want? If you remember all of those, you're a legend, okay? It would be absolutely great. Of course, you can stop this video whenever you want, and you can learn whichever one. You can let me know which one you think you will try to use, which one is most useful. I would say in English, all of these are used. All of these are used, and often you won't hear them because you don't know them, but once you know them, you'll hear them. Now, what I wanted to do was I wanted to go over and do something different. So I am going to take away this window and I'm going to put on this window. Okay, great. So what I want to do is I'll do a little quiz with you guys and see how, if you can answer these questions correctly, okay? So we've got about 6 questions here, and we're doing a little grammar quiz. So let me know, I want to see if you guys can get it. I want to make it a bit bigger. Okay, I'll double check. Again, my cursor has disappeared. There it is. Okay, I'm going to make myself a little bit smaller so you guys can see the first sentence. Okay, I'm coming over here. There I am. You can still see me. Okay, so choose the correct form of the verb to complete the sentence. The company been expanding its operations in Europe over the past year. The company has been expanding its operations in Europe over the past year, or is it the company have been expanding its operations in Europe over the past year? The company have been or the company has been? So I'll give you a moment. And another way I would say is, often people say, what do you think? But I would say here, and a lot of English speakers would say, what do you reckon? What do you reckon? I'm going to spell it for you here. I'm going to put it in the text. What do you reckon? And I'll need to bring this down, I believe. What do you reckon? This is a very common way we say, what do you think? Okay, what do you reckon? Well, the answer is, let's go over it. The company has been. Okay, it's the company. It's like the company is like a person. She has, he has, it has. So the company has been expanding its operations in Europe over the past year. Okay, the next one. Let me make sure you can see it. Is the identify the error in the sentence and correct it. Okay, I'm going to delete over here. Okay, and it says identify the error in the sentence and corrected it. So the manager asked to me to prepare the report by Friday. The manager asked to me to prepare the report by Friday. So what do you reckon? What do you reckon? The manager asked to me to prepare the report by Friday. Okay. And it is the manager asked me. That's the correct answer. The manager asked me. Let's go on to number 3. Choose the correct preposition to complete the sentence. The sales team is responsible meeting the monthly targets. The sales team is responsible for meeting the monthly targets. The sales team is responsible to meeting the monthly targets. The sales team is responsible with meeting the monthly targets. And the sales team is responsible by meeting the monthly targets. What do you think? What do you reckon? That's your new one that you need to use. What do you reckon? Very native. Okay, so the answer here is A. The answer is A. The sales team is responsible for meeting the monthly targets. Okay, moving on. Choose the correct article to complete the sentence. Marketing department is in charge of promoting the new product. Is it a marketing department, an marketing department, the marketing department, or none? Just marketing department is in charge. I'll give you a moment. And the answer is C, the marketing department. Okay. Let's go on to our second last one. Choose the correct modal verb to complete the sentence. We invest in this new project without doing more research first. We should invest in this new project, or we shouldn't invest in this new project. Okay, this is we shouldn't. Make sure we can hear this T at the end. We shouldn't. Always important to get that last sound. For example, like I can, I can't. Very important to hear that T at the end. And finally, choose the correct form of the verb to complete the sentence. She has been working for the company for over 10 years, or she have been working for the company for over 10 years. And the answer is she has been. Okay, I like to just sometimes say that when it's the she or he, just think of the S. You should be seeing an S. Okay, great stuff. I hope that was useful for you today. Not giving you too much information, I hope. Let me go back here and do that one. No. Oh yeah. Well, anyway, I've just gotten rid of my camera. Let me put it back on. My video capture device. There we go, I'm back. Okay, guys, I hope that was useful for you today. I hope I can help you improve on your English every now and again. I've uploaded a poll to see which expression is useful for you. You can see that in my activity. You can vote. That result will be out tomorrow, Friday. Which expression is useful? I think we have which do you like to use in business, or are you familiar with? There's a win-win situation. There is get the ball rolling, think outside the box, and touch base. Touch base meaning to get in contact. So as far as I remember at the moment, think outside the box is the most popular at the moment. And we'll see what the results are. Also, different videos and different phrases that can help you. I shall be back very soon uploading a new business phrase in a short video to help you. And then, of course, I will be back next week with a new video like this, talking about different things, helping you vocabulary. We'll maybe do some listening. As I said, really thank you so much to everybody looking. Let your friends know. Share this video, give it a like, it really helps. And I'm wishing you a very good weekend, and I'll see you next week.